Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I went on a little bit of an adventure this morning, and I had an appointment down in St. Cloud, which is in Orlando. And it's kind of like a farm town. Like, it's so pretty. There's lots of greenery, there's lots of hills. It's just a really, really beautiful place. So I was down there today, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I found the cutest flower shop. So on my way there, I had kind of a time crunch. I woke up late, I didn't set an alarm, and I realized I had an appointment down there. And so what I did was I rushed and got ready, which is why my lipstick does not match my eyeshadow, by the way. Hello, Alex from Dominican Republic. How are you? And so I rushed down there, and then after my appointment, I was like, wow, it is such a cute little neighborhood. I want to take a look around. I want to see what's in this neighborhood. I want to kind of see if there's any cute coffee shops, or places to explore because I love to explore. And so what I did was I basically drove around, and then I took the long way home. And on the long way home, I found these beautiful flowers. So I stopped off at a flower shop, and they actually didn't have any live bouquets that I liked. And so I was like, oh, well, see if there's another florist around here. We have Lord Wellington's coming to visit with us. You guys know my hairless cat. And so I drove down the street. They said that there was a florist on the street, and I found these amazing, beautiful flowers. So I got these flowers for myself this morning. They're so pretty. Lord even likes them too. And so it's been a good start to the morning. So I had a really, really nice morning. It was a very laid back morning after my hectic realizing I did not set a schedule or set an alarm for my schedule. So how are you guys doing today? Like, as you get on, just drop in where you're coming in from, what your day's been like. It is Friday, so it's like almost the weekend. And I want to know, what are you guys up to this weekend? Do you have anything fun going on? Is there anything exciting going on? Are you going on any dates this weekend? Are you dating your husband, your partner, your wife? What is going on for this weekend? I was bored, now I see your channel pops up online and I'm watching you, so I can say I feel pretty good. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alex. That's so sweet. So, full disclosure, I am married, but I am going to talk about this because I had a lot of experience dating in my 20s, and I just want to talk about what I've seen. So, I was in a group the other day, and this keeps coming up all the time. Like, I keep seeing women posting about how hard dating is in this day and age. They're like, oh my gosh, it's almost too much of a struggle. It's more of a struggle than it's worth. And here's the thing is that I think that dating is so fun, and dating's supposed to be fun. You're getting to know new people, you're expanding, you're exploring, you're trying new restaurants. Like, you should be having fun when you're dating. So dating shouldn't be this thing where it's like heavy and you feel like you're trapped in, like, you feel like there's crazy energy or you keep meeting awful people. Like, dating can be a decision to date well. And and I think the biggest part of it is a lot of times, like, when we get into relationships, we're kind of seeking a relationship out of desperation, not out of the place of, I want to have fun, I want to meet new people, I want to potentially meet, my future forever person, my future husband, my future wife, my future partner. And we get into this thing where we're like, oh, I'm lonely. I kind of want that person that I can Netflix and chill with. Or, there's all these things that can come up around when we feel like we're alone. We're coming from a place of desperation and lack. And if you guys follow my work, you know that coming from a place of abundance and coming from a place of feeling good, coming from a place of excitement, coming from a place of, oh my gosh, it gets to be better and better and better, is the vibe. Like, that will bring good things to you. Some people call it law of attraction. Some people call it reap what you sow if you're biblical. I know I still have a lot of biblical people on this channel. And you guys, what I'm saying is totally 100% aligned with both realms, okay? Like it is aligned with both realms. So basically, when we come into this dating arena and we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, I get to meet all these amazing people. Oh my gosh, I get to go on all these dates. Oh my gosh, I get to meet all these great men, all these great women, whoever it is. I'm going to speak from a woman's point because this is what I've seen is so many women get caught up in this coming into these relationships that they weren't even really meant to be in the first place. Like I was reading through a lot of these posts and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this person was not meant for you from the get-go. And we'll talk about that. I'm gonna read your guys' comments. You guys, I'm married. I'm happily married, okay? Just so you know. So when we're desperate, we're coming into it with a pick me attitude. And here's the thing for women especially, and like I don't know if you guys will want whatever. But like women, when we come into a situation where we're like, pick me, pick me, pick me, we're gonna have a really weird, a really funky energy that the guy is gonna pick up on, and they're gonna be like, I don't know what it is about this girl, but I just don't resonate with her. If they're super elevated, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can feel this, it's too heavy, I don't want anything to do with this. So I know that there's some guys on the live right now. So if you guys want to kind of share your dating experience, it'd be fun to kind of talk about it like back and forth. But what I've noticed is when I'm out and I'm watching like the dating scene or when I'm reading these women's posts, it's coming from an energy of, I need a relationship. I need a relationship so that I feel good. And that is coming from a lack energy. Like that is coming from a desperate energy. It's coming from an energy where we're shutting down the other person's ability to choose us. Okay, so it shouldn't make you feel rejected because I'm just married, but okay. Like I'm already taken off the market. There's no dating going on except for in my relationship with my husband. Hi Donna, how are you, Donna? So basically, when we come into a relationship and we feel whole, which is why the inner work is so important. I always say date yourself first. Get to know yourself, get to know your likes, your dislikes. Do the inner work. Do the thing that is going to make you realize like who are you? What do you enjoy doing? This is going to help you connect with someone who is also going to enjoy the same things. They're also going to come from a place of wholeness and not of lack or desperation or needing someone or just wanting to use you for sex or just wanting to have you around. And the thing is that we first choose us. So when we love us, our standards go through the roof. What we have for ourselves, like our standards for ourselves, are through the roof. So when someone comes along and they're not the right person, they don't fit that standard, they're treating, they think that they just want to do like a booty call thing, and that's not what you want. You want a husband. Or they come along and they think that they can, XYZ, and you're not into that. You're going to know because you're coming from a whole place, and you're just going to say, no, that's not for me, in a very polite way. There's no need to ever be rude, but you're going to come from a place of, that just isn't for me. You're going to know. You're going to know like you know, when you're coming from a place of wholeness. There is no need for approval, for validation. There's no need for any of that funky energy. There's no desperation. There's no pick me. There's no jumping through hoops like you're a circus animal. And so you're going to have a more laid back, inviting energy that the guy will then feel comfortable with. So guy, girl, whatever. I'm talking to women though specifically. So when you're on a date, and you have this, let me prove how good I am to you so that I can be validated, you're going to feel this energy of just, it's going to make you feel like it's just too much. And it's going to make him feel like it's too much. And you're going to not click on so many levels because it's I want, I need. And he's going to be like, what is this? He's going to feel it and he may not know what it is. And that's when he starts to say things that are like, you're like, what in the world? No. Like, this is just not what I signed up for. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of is these women who they want the perfect relationship. And I'm going to use the example of what I saw in one of the groups because this really struck me. So here's a woman on a mission. She is, going through bodybuilding, which is one of the most amazing transformations. There's so many amazing transformations. There's getting your college degree, there's getting your master's degree, there's running a marathon, there's doing a competition, there's so many things that us women do that are truly amazing, that are truly inspiring. And she's doing this thing for herself. She's going through this competition for herself. She's training for this competition for herself. And she tells him that she needs to be at the gym every day until 8 p.m. And he said, well, that's just not going to work for me. I need a girlfriend who can go down to the river and drink beer with me every single night. Now, these two people are just not even compatible from the very get-go. Like, they want two very, very separate things. Like, they want two very separate things. She wants to compete in a competition that she's not going to be drinking. She's not going to be doing those things. And he's coming from a place of, I just want to drink and sit by the river. They're just not compatible, at least not at this moment, and probably not really ever. But like, they're not compatible. So it's almost like oil and water, and it's just not mixing, and it's a weird, funky energy. But instead of her being like, oh, okay, this is just not for me, she thinks something's wrong with her. Do we see where this is going? Like, she thinks something's wrong with her. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. Or, oh, what can I do to be different? Girl, you don't have to do anything to be different. You are what you are. You have the ambitions you have. And you don't need to change for someone else. So this comes back to like when we first choose us. So when you first choose yourself, you're going to know when someone's for you. You're going to know when someone's not for you. It's going to be so clear. It's going to be like clear as day. It's going to be crystal clear. It's going to be like, let me shine, wash your dishes clear. You're going to be like, this is just not for me. And you're going to know, that this is just not for me. This is not going to work. So first choose ourselves and like who we are and like what we do and fucking own that. Like really own that. Like, this is what I love. This is what lights me up. This is what I do. And when we come from that space, people either gravitate towards it or they're going to gravitate away from it. And thank God that people are going to, who aren't meant for that arena, are going to be like, this doesn't feel right to me, or they're going to fall away or something. It's just going to naturally separate like that oil and that water. And we can find the people who, like, not even find, we can just attract the people who fit in our world. So if you're dating online, and I'm curious if anyone's on the live stream, like, let me know, are you dating right now? Are you dating online? Are you dating in person? I'll tell you guys a quick story of like how I met my husband. Okay. So I met my husband in Indiana, and I was very intentional that I wanted to get married. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to have that dynamic. That was, my soul felt like it was the time for that. I had done so much in my life, and ultimately I just felt like something was missing. I was in my late 20s. I'm 31 now. I'm almost 32. I'll be 32 next month, so we can celebrate my birthday all month long. July, we're going to be celebrating my birthday all month long, flowers all month long. So I was in my 20s. I was in my late 20s, and I had just moved to Indiana. My sister said that she met her boyfriend there. There were such great guys there. And I grew up in the Midwest, so I knew that the guys in the Midwest were, I love Midwestern guys. I think they're great. I think they're, it's just more my scene. So I moved to Indiana. I knew I wanted to meet someone, and I did try the whole Tinder route. I tried the Hinge route. I tried all the dating apps. And one night, I remember it very clearly. One night I was like, I'm not going to meet my future husband on a dating app. I knew I was not going to meet my future husband on a dating app. And so what I did was I deleted all the apps. I was so overwhelmed by the apps. Like, and this is for me personally, you may meet your person on an app. Like, an app may be what you need. A dating site may be what you need. It's just everyone's journey is so different. I knew in my heart of hearts that mine was going to be met in the wild. And when I say in the wild, I mean like out in outside of my house. Not like I didn't go into a woods and meet my husband in the woods. That would have been really creepy. That's how joggers die. Like, I'm just, yeah, that's not the vibe here. That's not what happened here. Alex says, I think you should do these more often because it will really help certain people around on YouTube. I'm totally convinced about it. It's great content ever. Thank you, Alex. And what was your question? As long as it's like in tune with this, I would love to answer that. That's what this is. This is live communication. So the more you guys communicate with me, the more fun we have on these live streams. So comment, give me some advice, give me some stories. Like, let's chat. Let's make this fun. That's what this is all about. You're hanging out with me. I'm hanging out with you guys, and that's what this is for. So I met my husband at a grocery store. It was Whole Foods in Carmel, Indiana. If you guys have been to Indiana, it was the Clay Terrace Whole Foods. And that to me was my favorite place to go. Like, I love to go there. I love to get lunch there. I love to go to the Starbucks there. It was my favorite place. I had all my biggest transformations there. I had one of my biggest days of coaching there. You know, it was just the place where I felt that things were alive, things were electric, and things were happening. I like to shop there. You know, they had so many shops there. They had Z Gallery there before they closed down. That's where I got that white thing in the back. So anyways, I met him in the supplement aisle, which is funny because my life has been literally all about, you know, fitness and all of that. So it's really funny that that's how we met. You know, I think that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, has a silly sense of humor when it comes to certain things, but that's how we met. And, you know, it wasn't like attraction right away. It really wasn't. It was like, we kind of just went with things. I felt safe and secure with him. And I knew that this was the type of guy who had all the qualities of a husband that I was looking for. Donna says she lives in Indiana. That's so cool. What part do you live in? I was in Zionsville, Indiana. So I lived in Zionsville. I've lived in Indianapolis. Like, I lived downtown. I lived at Ninon Canal was one of the places that I lived. It like overlooked the canal. It was so pretty. Indiana's really, it's a cool place. Like, there's so much going on. And it's like expanding. Like, they have so much new stuff, like Bottle Works downtown. Like, there's so many cool things in Indiana. I do not live there anymore, by the way. I live in Florida. Oh, you're from Southside, like Fountain Square area. That's so cool. So when we met, like, things moved very quickly, and like, we kind of knew, like, he joked that we were going to get married like within the first week, and I kind of had those vibes too. I was like, this seems like a person who is stable, safe, secure, someone who, you know, he's older than me. He's 11 years older. And I just felt like this was a good match. Like, I knew that in my heart, I was like, this seems like someone I could spend the rest of my life with. Obviously, I didn't know him, you know, very well. We had just met, but we were going on dates. And the thing was, though, is that I was not super like jumping all in either. I had my own life. I had my own, you know, business. I had my own thing that I was, you know, attentive to. And then he did it as well. And it was kind of like when we had time to see each other, we would see each other. And that was that. So there's someone who I actually follow on here. Her name's Mina Irfan, and I love her. She's so incredible at a lot of this relationship stuff and dating stuff. She has a lot of the same beliefs I have too. So if you guys want to check her channel out, she's amazing. Her name's Mina Irfan. I believe she goes by the Universe Guru on here. And she talks about something called rotational dating, which admittedly I did not do. So I did not rotational date with my husband. I did rotational date when I was in my early 20s. So when I was like 22, 23, 24, I wasn't dating just one person. This doesn't mean that I was sleeping with people. That's a very different thing. Dating and sleeping with people are two separate things. You can go on dates with people, get to know people. Dating is strictly just getting to know someone and seeing if they're a compatible match for marriage. That's what dating is. And so you can choose to do what you want inside of dating, but that was like basically, you know, and whatever, that's anyone's own business. Like, that's no one's business online. It's that person's private business. So anyways, in my early 20s, I was dating, you know, multiple people at a time. I didn't want to commit to one person because why? Unless they're going to propose and get married and all that. And then when I heard Mina's explanation of this, and it's a very Eastern culture, she says that it's very popular in like the Eastern culture, it made so much sense to me because it's like naturally, like biologically, that's how we were wired, and that's how both men and women were wired to be. So it's not like this committed with a boyfriend and living with him for, 20 years and then you guys break up and you don't know what to do because you're like, I'm now so much older. How am I going to date? How am I going to get back on the market? It's a more secure way of dating. And that made so much sense to me when I heard about this rotational dating situation. So basically, it's not committing to a boyfriend, it's committing to a future husband. So once you have a ring, once you guys are engaged, then it's commitment. But before that, you're open to see other people, he's open to see other people, whatever. It's a rotational dating situation. And why this works is because you're not so focused on one person, which we all know that energy of being like hyper focused on the one person it can be too much. So you're out there and you're exploring other things. And then once that person decides, I'm going to make that commitment to you, I want to be with you forever. It's not a, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? It's a, would you like to be my wife? And it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So check her out if you want to like understand that a little bit more. That's not really my wheelhouse. And that's not why I really wanted to come on here. I want to talk about what I've been seeing like in nature, like out in the wild. So when I've been at restaurants, I've just been paying attention to how women and men interact and like first dates and it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if you guys can spot this, but when two people are on a first date, if you can tell that they're on a first date, or if it's a third date, or if it's a fourth date, or if they've been married for a really long time, like, can you just sense when someone has been married for a really long time? Like, you kind of like are like, oh, they've been like, they have this like familiarity with each other. And one thing I did notice was there are a lot of people who seem to be married and they're on their phone and they're like this on a date where they're not even looking at each other. They're just, on their phones. And I think that that is a damn shame. I really do. I think that, in this day and age, it's so easy to not have communication. We're so into the tech world that it's like we don't really connect on those really deep levels anymore. And women are so stressed out. Men are stressed out. It's this weird dynamic where it's like you see these couples who are going on dates and they're just like, the woman's trying to prove herself, the guy's it's just like this mess where it's just this weird energy. And then I've seen, severe lack of etiquette out as well. Like the other day, I was out and there was a girl who was shouting across the bar. Like, I mean, it was like a restaurant bar area, and she was literally yelling across the bar at this guy to go get her a drink. And it was like screeching, screaming. Thank you. Thank you. So when we see stuff like that, we're like, ooh, what is going on? Like, what is this weird energy? And that could have been a first date situation. Donna, it was scary. So she was literally yelling, screeching at him, get me up. And I was just like, oh my God, I had a hard time listening to it. He was like, and the whole thing was just weird. Well, I was watching them and I was watching the communication, and she was like talking down to him. You could tell he was like, I'm not going to ask this girl back out on a date. And then the food came. And then the food came. And she was shoveling it in her mouth. It was falling out of her mouth. And it was just like, there was no manners. There was no etiquette. It was all out the window. It was just all out the window. And this was like this wasn't like a weird place that you go to get like pick up food, like just a random, like, oh, we're going to go in and go out. It wasn't like a Jimmy John's. Like, this was actually like a sit down, like, let's eat. And Donna says nasty. So I'm telling you this because it's important how we conduct ourselves when we are out in public. Like, even if you think no one is watching, people are watching. It's like, how we are when no one's around is really like our true self. Like, that is how we are going to be through and through and through again. I am not dressed up today because I'm honestly going to the gym, but normally I will dress up. Normally I'll do my hair. Normally I'll look ready for the day because you just never know what's going to happen, and it makes me feel good. Like, do you guys agree? Like, do you feel the same way? Like, when you feel good, you tend to do good. When you feel good, good things are attracted. When you feel good, you look good, you smell good. Things are pretty, it feels expansive. You're going to feel better. And those are usually the times that you meet the person. That is usually the time where everything clicks. You get the good job, you meet the person, you meet the man, you meet the woman, is usually in that moment when you feel just really good, when you feel really good. And that was the day that I met my husband actually, was a day where I woke up in the morning, I was like, I feel like I'm just gonna meet some really great people today. Tana says your shirt's matching your kitty. I know, he's sitting in my lap. He's so sweet. This is Lord Wellington, by the way, you guys. I think he's like 5 or 6 years old. There's videos of when I first got him on YouTube, by the way. If you scroll back far enough, there's the video of when I first got him. It's like so sweet. We've been together for a while, haven't we, buddy? So that's pretty much the thing, is like, there's that part of it, and then there's also boundaries. Like, this is something that we don't really talk about a lot, and the more I talk to women, the more I realize, like, a lot of us were never taught boundaries. We weren't taught what a boundary even is, and we don't have those boundaries set for us. And I think that this comes from a lot of inner work. Like, when you do the inner work, yes, candle melts make me get started. Yes. Yes. When it smells good, it looks good. That's why flowers, I love getting flowers for myself, is because I feel good when I'm around flowers. Alex says he's ignored. Alex, you gotta work on that. Like, your energy is your energy. And if go back and watch my other videos, I talk about how to stand in your power and how to be empowered. What other people do should not affect you. It shouldn't affect how you feel. Like, I mean, obviously it's going to affect how you feel, but like, our emotions, we're able to breathe and see why we're being triggered. So that's in my other videos. You can watch those, and it talks about like how to be less triggered and how to feel good in any situation, basically. So where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, boundaries. Okay, so knowing what we're here for and what we are and are not about. So a boundary isn't something that you're like, this is my line in the sand, don't cross it. It's not about that. It's people know how to treat you because of how you treat you. So when you're treating yourself in a certain way, people will know that they can treat you in that same way. And there's always going to be people, there's always exceptions to the rule. There's always going to be people who like are just so unself-aware that they're going to just not get it, and they're going to try and take. Those are not your people, by the way. If that happens to you, those are not your people. And then you're going to have people who are just totally unself-aware, and they're hurting and they're broken and they have a lot of things going on in their life, and they're going to be like, what? And it's going to be like so much untampered, like just untamed energy, and it's going to be a lot. Again, those are not your people. They have their own stuff to work on too. It doesn't make them bad people. It's just they have their own stuff to work on. And when you're going through this journey, and when you're, trying to find someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, trust me, you want someone who is also coming from a place of self-development. They're growing, they're learning, they're wanting to be better for the person that they're going to be with. They want to be the best husband or best wife that they can be for the person that they're going to be with. So they're not coming from like a wounded space of I need all your attention. I need you to validate me. I need you to appreciate me. Okay, bye, Alex. Have a good day. But they're coming from a place of they're there to experience with you just like you're there to experience. And it's a beautiful state of being. And so the boundary thing is something that I see a lot on social media, where it's like these memes and these like situations of people who are clearly like hurting, and they're like, you got to tell him up front that you're here for this. No. You should not have to tell anyone anything. Like, it should be in your energy. It should be how you are. Like it's how you treat yourself is the standard. Like, that is the standard. Like, I'm trying to think of like a good analogy or like a good example of this, and I can't quite fathom one right now, but it's like when people take care of themselves and they take care of, the people around them, they're kind, they're courteous, which kind people are my people. I love kind people. But when they're kind and courteous, when they're there to make an impact, when they're there to be, grow and level up and help the people around them to become better, and they empower themselves, they don't settle for bad treatment, and they don't make a big scene of it either. So it's just like a silent, like, okay, that person is how they're going to be. Now I know how to treat them, or, now I know that I can, spend less time with that person or spend no time with that person, and I'll continue doing life over here because I'm appreciated over here. I, feel better over here. I feel good over here. So does that make sense? Like, you get to choose how people treat you based upon how you treat you. Always, always. And so when we feel like there's a void in us, like, do that inner work. Like, that's the perfect time to do that inner work. So I think that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you guys want to say anything in the chat. I've lost many people. I don't have many friends now, but I'm okay with that. After I got clean from pills, my friends were ghosts. The few people I have respect me. Donna, yes, that's so important. And congratulations on getting clean and sober. That's amazing. Yes. So in a lot of scenarios, like, we'll lose people, and it can feel like hurt. Sarah and I talked about this in my last video collaboration I did with Sarah, Joanne Pickering. We talked about how some people, like, when they fall away and we're in that limbo, there's this limbo phase where a lot of the old people will fall away who were there for the wrong reasons. And there may not be anything wrong with them. It's just that they're having a different life experience. And you guys at one point were on the same plane, right? Like, you guys were on that same plane. And then when you start to level up, when you start to change your life, when you start to get more confidence, or you start to go after what you want to go after, they will either feel like rising up to that occasion too. It will calibrate them. It will inspire something inside of them. They will see you doing it. They will start to do it. Or on the contrary, they fall away. They can become jealous. They can become bitter. It just really depends on their expression and what they go through when they see that. So some people will be inspired by you. Like, have you ever posted a photo or something on Facebook or Instagram and someone writes to you and they're like, wow, you're so inspiring. You inspired me to do X, Y, and Z. This actually happened to me the other day. So you guys know I don't eat grain and I don't eat dairy, and I work out, and I've had my own journey with autoimmune and all of that. And I talk about it very openly and very freely on the internet. And so I do get people who write to me about it, and they'll say, this changed my life. Thank you. Like, I've lost 20 pounds or whatever. I had someone write to me the other day saying that they have no more autoimmune symptoms and that they feel so much better because of a post they saw that I did. And they were like, I was feeling so awful for months. And finally, I came across your post. I don't know how it came across my page. I may have been following you for a couple of years, but never really like tuned into your stuff. But I saw it come across, and something in me was like, wow, I can do this too. There's nothing special about me. I'm just an average person who wants better. That's all I'm here for. And I talk about it openly, and I share about it openly. And this person was like, wow, I can do that too. And they did it. So that's like, they're seeing it's possible and they're rising up to that. They're trying that. So Donna, I had a lot of autoimmune conditions, and it was like progressively getting worse and worse. But the main issue was celiac, which is basically like a corrosion of the small intestine. So you're not absorbing your vitamins, you're not absorbing minerals. I was so depleted in B vitamins that I was like hallucinating. Like, that's how bad it was for me. I had like super low vitamin A, super low vitamin D, and my B vitamins and my zinc were almost non-existent. I was getting like really bad acne, like a lot of weird stuff. Like, I would start to forget things. Like, I would get in my car and I wouldn't know where I was. It was really scary. But my autoimmune diagnoses were like lupus scleroderma, Sjogren's, which is like where your eyes are so dry, your mouth is so dry. It was really weird. I had a lot of issues, and then my liver was not really functioning. And so there was like a lot of weird stuff going on. But I didn't drink, but my liver was going into cirrhosis, and it was all from gluten. So I eliminated gluten at first. It was not enough. I eliminated grains because I found Dr. Peter Osborne, and it completely changed my life. So I have him to thank for me being here. Like, I felt like death, girl. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. I thank God for my husband. I could not do much of anything. Like, I was scared to be alive. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I was confused 24/7. It was awful. But I found Dr. Peter Osborne, and he completely shifted everything in my life for me. And I feel amazing now. I feel amazing now. Definitely look into his work, Donna. I know that, like, living in Indiana, there's so much grain. When I lived in California, I mean, there's grain everywhere. There's grain everywhere. But when you went to the restaurants in California, it was more like vegetable based. It was more, yeah, I was anemic. My ferritin level was 14, which is really low. So I was anemic as well. But when I lived in, Vegas, when I lived in California, like, the food there is a lot different. So it's like fresh fish. It's a lot more, I was eating like fish and asparagus. And then when I moved to Indiana, it was like burgers and fries and all that stuff. And so my autoimmune came on quick when I was there, like, really, really quick. So it came on very quick. Um, So yeah, it was anemia. It was everything. Like, literally, I don't know how I'm still alive. Thank God I'm still alive. I'm really grateful for that. But Dr. Peter Osborne is to thank for this. I never went to see him. I have bought his products, but it was a year after following his diet that I bought his products. So you don't need to buy anything. Just go grain and dairy free. Like, that's the gist of it, is grain and dairy free. It's changed my life. So back to the dating thing, when we become the person we would want to be with, like, when we truly become the person we would date, that we would want to be with, we're going to start attracting people who are quality people. We're going to start attracting the partner that lights us up, that makes us happy, that makes us like, yes, like, it gets to be this good. Oh my gosh, like, I had no idea. Like, have you ever looked back on your exes and been like, oh, why did I pick that person? What was I thinking? But the thing was, is you weren't as evolved as you are now. So it's like, looking back on that, you were attracting someone you were back then. You were attracting the equivalent, I'm not going to even say that, because that's not always true. And sometimes people get into weird situations. But at the same time, when you're doing the inner work and you're developing and you're growing, you're going to attract people who are on that same path, because how could you not? Like, you're not going to be attracted to them. They're not going to be attracted to you. There's going to feel like this incongruency and this incongruent energy. So when we start to go on that journey where we're growing and we want better for the people around us and we want better for us, we're going to start to notice a shift in everything around us, including the people that we're attracted to, including the people that we're dating. And I will say this, is that a lot of times before we do that inner work, the people we are attracted to are usually the people who are, like, gonna trigger us. I don't know how to put this any other way, but it's like, you're attracted to the bad boy because X, Y, and Z. Like, and then it keeps repeating over and over again until we learn that lesson and we can break out of that. And we're like, well, what's actually good for us? Like, then we start to be like, what is good for us, instead of what am I attracted to chemistry wise? Like, because what we're attracted to chemistry wise may be the drama. It may be the unsureness about this guy. Like, if you watch the video Sarah and I did, she talks about the 6 basic human needs, and one of them is certainty, and the other one is uncertainty. So we need both. We need both the certainty, and then we need the uncertainty. And so if who we're attracting is wild and chaos and craziness in a human form, there's something in us that is not yet healed. It's not yet gone to another level. And we're attracting that because we're like, okay, I need this uncertainty. This uncertainty connects with what I need. Uncertainty, when we start to grow and evolve, can look like, what's my next level in business? If I open this new part of business, what's going to happen? This is going to feel like a huge stretch. Or uncertainty could even be, something that doesn't have to do with chaos. Something that does not have to do with chaos. It could be business growth. It could be going to a new country, exploring a new country. It could be something I like to do, is just going places and exploring. Like today, very uncertain, don't know what I'm going to find. It's exciting. We need that excitement. That excitement is in our human needs. It's in our human needs. So Sarah talked about that, how that is something where if we're at a lower vibrational level, we're going to attract it in weird ways, like weird partners, weird circumstances. We may even have like weird stuff pop up, like just things that are not really meant for you, and it's going to feel out of alignment. You're going to know in your heart of hearts, like, this just is not right, but you're going to keep going through that cycle. It's kind of like the bad boyfriend that you keep going back to over and over again. You're like, why do I keep going back to this guy? I know better. I know better. I know better. Why do I keep going back to this guy? But you can't break out of that cycle until you heal past part of that, until you get to that next rung where the uncertainty or that need that needs to be met, where you're meeting it through that way, is solidified and it's something new. Let me get some coffee. I'm actually drinking coffee right now, which is funny because it's like 2:30, but I have an event tonight, so I still have to get my workout in, and then I have an event. So yeah, I'm sorry you have Sjogren's, Donna. That is like the worst. I would definitely try grain and dairy free if it feels called for you. You'll start to notice some crazy stuff going grain and dairy free too. Like, I haven't had Botox, I haven't had any work done, but I feel like I'm aging in reverse. Like, my hair is growing really quickly, it's growing really healthy, and my skin has just gotten so much better. I slept in my makeup a couple nights this week, so my skin isn't the best it could be, but it is a lot better than when I was eating grains. So if that's something that calls out to you, try it out. It took me 6 months to feel better and for all my symptoms to go away. So a week into it, a lot of my symptoms were gone. So it might be for you. Just look into his research. He has so much research. It's insane. He actually did I think it was today, he did a show on Sjogren's. So you might want to check that out. It's like autoimmune diseases of the eye and mouth. So definitely check that out. So if you guys don't have anything else you want to chat about, I love you guys, by the way. I'm grateful you're here with me, that we get to hang out on this Friday. Friday, got my new flowers. Do you guys like this song? We had Lord with us the entire day. He is so warm, by the way. Like, when he sleeps in the bed with us, it's just like, he is so hot. He's like a little heating blanket. Oh, well, that's interesting. I love it. I love that we can talk about everything on this channel. Whatever you're into, seriously, whatever you're into, this is a safe place to talk about things, but like, what makes you happy makes you happy. And that's going to be different for everybody. That's going to look different for everybody. What I'm talking about is really kind of the basics of the foundational good relationship, like the mutual respect relationship, the let's grow together in ways that flourish us. And it's going to be different. You know, guys and women and men are very fundamentally different, very different. And one thing that in this day and age, with the whole, there's so much politically correctness, and you know, guys should be able to be like more feminine, women should be more masculine, whatever. I have no problem with that if that works for you. But I'm just coming from a place where I want to bring to light what I know to be true and what I've seen. And so I'm just talking about it from my point of view. Okay, so if you're still loving someone who is hurting you or who you're not, love is like a really deep word, and love is like a very full word, and it's a very like intense word, and it's something that does take time. Like, love is not an overnight thing. But healing those parts of us that need the validation, that need the attention, like it could be from something in our past that had happened in our past that we need to heal and move past. I know that for myself, there was so much inner work that I kept dodging because I was like, oh, I don't need to do this. I don't need to work on this. I don't need to think about this. I don't need to go back on this. And that's why I'm such a huge fan of therapy. I think therapy has its place for people who are coming out of a relationship that maybe didn't serve them, or, you know, and I'm not diving into that. That's not my wheelhouse. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed professional in that area. But what I'm saying is this is the foundational things for like getting into a new relationship with someone who lights you up, that you love, that inspires you, that grows you, that stretches you, that you guys grow together, and it's a healthy relationship. So it's all my opinions. It's all coming from places that I've actually been and that I've actually experienced. So I never talk about things that I haven't done or that, I'm just talking about what I've experienced. And so for me, like when I met my husband, like I knew deep down, like this is a guy who's good for me. And I knew that. And I was like the fun for him. Like it was like literally, we went on vacation like the first week we knew each other, which is so crazy looking back on that. I was like, whoa, like that's a pretty bold move. But we had so much fun. Like we got to the hotel and I forget what had happened, but we got like upgraded or something. And he's like, well, this never happens. And I'm like, well, it happens with me. And we had such a good time. It was so much fun. And so finding someone who makes you feel special, valued, appreciated, loved, cherished, all starts with us doing that for ourselves. So when we start with us, when we do that inner work and we begin to truly have self-love. Self-love is not like a bubble bath. It's not just buying flowers. It's embodying like who we are when we love ourselves. Like if you had a version of you as like a daughter, how would you talk to her? How would you treat her? How would you speak to her? How would you mentor her and give her advice on life? And being that for ourselves, because we can be so hard on ourselves and we can be so like just rough on ourselves that's not self-love. Self-love is really coming from a place of what's best for me and am I treating myself in that way? Because when we treat ourselves in that way, it opens a whole new world to amazing opportunities. So with that, I love you guys. I'm so grateful you got to spend this time with me. We've been on here for like almost an hour. We've been on here for 46 minutes. But I'm so glad you were here. And I'm really grateful that, this channel is so fun because we get to talk about things. And then on top of that, you guys get to experience some of my other stuff, my competing world, real estate world, all of that. So it's a really fun place for me to show up. And I love that. And I love the energy that you guys bring to these live streams, where it's engaging, it's exciting. We get to talk, we get to communicate. And it's just really, really awesome that we have this place on the internet that is a place that is just, it's cool. It's fun. It's amazing. And we get to talk about real things too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please like it. Please subscribe and share this with someone who maybe needs a little bit of relationship TLC. And I will see you guys in the next episode. So one thing I would love, love, love for you guys to do is comment on my latest community post. If you can't find that, you can comment on this video and just let me know of some topics that are interesting to you. I usually just talk about things that have popped up in my life that I'm like, whoa, this needs to be talked about. And then I share about that and I talk about that. So if there's something that kind of jives along with these, self-development, growth videos that you guys are like, let's chat about this. Let's hang out. Let's have a, Celia coffee time, like our little, community coffee time around this. Let me know. Like, let's chat about it. So I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. There may be a video being uploaded soon. I don't want to make any promises, but it might be a very exciting video about how I make my cookies. I went cookie shopping yesterday. You guys know I love to bake. So that might be coming up soon too. So we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.